Welcome to the Hustle Wing podcast. Today we are joined by Derrick Wallery, the founder of Physicians Admin Services LLC. We're going to chat to him about his software today, get to know him a little bit, and have a generally good time. So thank you so much, Derrick, for joining us. How are you today?
I'm fine, and thank you, Izzy, for having me be part of this. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Cool. So what is Physicians Admin Services LLC?
We provide services for the billing and collecting of late paid workers' compensation claims and the interest thereon. It's a very niche marketplace here in the state of Illinois. We got into the law beginning in 2005, changed again in 2011 and 2018. The ability for workers' compensation claims that were late paid to carry interest of 1% per month, 12% annually, non-compounding. The challenge is medical software programs aren't built, nor will they ever be built, to calculate, accrue, bill, and collect this interest. So we created a software program and services company to do just that for healthcare providers.
Okay. Okay, cool. And how long have you guys been running for?
Well, we've had different variations of our companies with different names doing similar things, but really since 2012 is when we got started.
Okay.
We had to really clarify the law. And so through that process, we brought a number of lawsuits to the courts in Illinois to get answers on what exactly the law said or what we thought it said
Okay.
versus what the insurance companies or payers were saying. And
Yeah.
eventually we got some clarification on that. We're able to go back to the legislature, and in November of 2018 became effective. We modified the law as such that our providers now have a private right of action to sue for this interest. What was happening is
Wow.
the courts were saying, hey, provider, you're owed this interest, but you don't have a way of collecting it. So you could see a number, but you couldn't go after it. And so we
Yeah.
were able to, through our litigation and our efforts in the legislature, to get that law changed so that providers now have a right to go collect that interest.
Awesome. That's so cool. Okay, okay. I mean, it's crazy that you have to change legislation and stuff. And it's crazy how there wasn't any sort of, you know, there wasn't any law behind it in the first place. What was the point of incurring interest if you can't collect it? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, that was our feeling as well as we're doing all this litigation, telling the court this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We ended up having court cases go all the way up to the Illinois Supreme Court on this argument that if we're
Wow.
entitled, if there's a right to interest but we can't collect it, then really what's the point? And
Yeah.
in general, talking about the industry, workers' compensation claims are inherently paid late. Over 55% of all workers' compensation claims are paid late. And when they are
Okay.
paid, they're paid almost 200 days late. And so it's a significant burden on providers because they have to render
Yeah.
the services, pay for all the staffing in the facility, and not be timely paid. And insurance
Yeah.
companies know this, so they carry that float and use effectively the provider's money to fund their operations.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
Yeah, it's a real challenge for the providers who see workers' compensation. So you saw a lot of providers just drop out in Illinois, not say, I can't afford to see these work comp patients, even though the fee schedule is really good. I can't get paid, or it's so late in the
Yeah.
payment. So the 1% interest is a provision that says, okay, provider, if you're going to have to carry this debt, which is the accounts receivable, that is your return for carrying the debt is the 1% interest. The challenge becomes,
Yeah.
even though now we have a legal right, is how do you go and collect it?
Yeah.
And
That's
that's where our
crazy.
company comes in.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. I feel like I'm, speaking to somebody who's like breaking ground, like a pioneer. Super cool.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we feel like we are. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, if you're changing legislation, you definitely are.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's cool. So what's your vision for or long-term goal for the business?
For the long-term goal is we have two models of how we generate revenue. One is we typically just go to providers and we say, we like to buy your paid workers' compensation claims. We don't want the medical part of it. We just want the late paid claims. And so we've been doing some of that. The other model we think is our leading model is a SaaS model, where we can go into larger groups, orthopedic groups, neurosurgery, hospitals and such, and create really a true partnership with a SaaS modeling by building out a software program that taps into their billing software, that on a
Yeah.
every moment of everyday basis, they can see how much interest is being accrued and calculated. And
Yeah.
then in our partnership, we can help them go collect that. So we think we can get a monthly monetary amount on the SaaS side in addition
Mm,
to a reward based when we collect the money.
yeah. And hopefully whip those insurance companies into shape because now they know they have to pay them.
That's right.
Awesome, cool. So what are currently your biggest challenges at Physicians Admin Services LLC?
You know, it's having a conversation with our customers. You would, in my mind, it would be a very easy conversation to have.
Yeah.
Hey, look, you're owed a lot of money on interest. You just don't know what it is because you can't see it. We can help you visualize that amount of interest owed and then go collect it. Interesting, in the hospital side of it and such, we face some challenges within, like the head of billing and collecting, saying, this is incredible, but if I bring this to my board, I'm probably going to lose my job because I should have known about this. And I
Oh,
didn't see
yeah.
that coming. And so I've had that a
Yeah.
number of times. So I've had one of our challenges understanding who do we really approach? Who is the voice we need to approach on a hospital board? Originally, I
Mm,
thought it was the CFO. And it turns out what we're finding in success is like the operating officer, the CEO, the highest voice to say, and that's not to
yeah.
go against their CFO, but to put their CFO or
No.
their entire board in a winning position to place it as saying, this is a very challenging situation for every provider, not just your
Yeah.
organization, and we're all facing these
Yeah.
challenges. So part of it is the
Yeah.
pitch, who to approach, has been some of our obstacles to overcome. We think we're gaining ground on that, but that's been a learning
Okay.
process.
Yeah. That's interesting. I guess that is a good point. I mean, if you did show up to your boss and say, hey, this mistake has been going on for years,
We've had
it's not a
instances
great
where
look for you.
no, we've had instances where clients are owed millions of dollars in interest
Yeah.
over the years, literally, and
Yeah.
there's been some really angst with that knowledge. At
Yeah.
people saying, "Man, I should have known this," but then I try to share with them, like, you couldn't have known it. The software programs don't
Yeah.
show you this, and
Exactly.
so part of what I've had to do is go to seminars, provider
Mm,
meetings, and start educating, right? A lot of educate,
yeah.
just like what we're doing, having conversations with people and educating them that it's nobody's fault. It was a long
Yeah.
process, and here's how we
Yeah.
can help partner up and resolve this.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's a real curveball. I would have never thought that was a
Mm-hmm.
challenge before, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So what sort of assistance would you need from our community of hustlers? Are you open to networking or collaborating with people or yeah, where
Absolutely.
do you stand?
Network's been very important for how we got here today. At all levels and all
Mm,
stakeholders. So it's very important going forward. And some of the assistance we could have is working better on our, I'll call it our app, our software application to do the
yeah.
SaaS modeling. We've
Okay.
got on the side to do the bulk collecting and billing, but we need a
Mm,
SaaS modeling software that would really help us out.
awesome. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time, Derek. It was really interesting, getting to know your service and just like discovering this hole that you found. Um, and I wish you all the best in your journey and trying to, get that interest.
Thanks, Izzy. I appreciate you. Thank you very, very much for this time.
Thank you.
Have a great day.